Our next presenter is a grade 12 student from Lloydminster Comprehensive High School. Ty Thiessen is extremely passionate towards politics. For instance, the Premier of Saskatchewan and 3 Saskatchewan cabinet ministers have considered 2 separate pieces of legislation he has proposed. Woohoo! Good way to go, Ty!
Being the director on the board of the United Conservative Party of Alberta Constituency Association for Vermilion, Lloydminster, Wainwright.
Well, that's a title. Deep breaths, Maheen.
Ty is eager to share his presentation, The Roots of Institutional Reform.
Welcome, Ty.
Thank you. Hello. Now, says Roots of Institutional Reform up there, it'll come up. Oh, it's a hockey rink. Last year, I broke my collarbone twice playing hockey, 2 different points on the same side. The first time, I get to the hospital and everyone's sickened by where the bone is nearly breaking through the skin. It's black. But there wasn't a doctor in Emerge. It was 3 in the afternoon. Now, how could that be the case? So I'm there for hours. No one's giving me pain relievers, just to wait for a doctor to get there and give me referral and a new sling to a clinic. Now, the second time, I'm not in Lloyd. I'm in Provost at 8 p.m. on my birthday. So instead of experiencing the wonders of the Provost Hospital, no offense to anyone from Provost here, we didn't waste our time on that. We went and my dad bought me a beer. I took my old sling out of my bag. I took an Advil, and we went home and we got a referral. Now, I'm also a runner on top of hockey. So last year with all those injuries, I had a bit of a training deficit. So I overworked myself and I injured myself further. So I developed some severe hip pains. So we went to a clinic to check it out. We went to a general practitioner. And he walks into the room and he tells me with complete conviction, and I'm 17, I have a hernia. Now, any of you that have had a hernia, like, I'm 17, how do I have a hernia? So we got an ultrasound to confirm, and the ultrasound can't confirm. So we had to pay for an MRI, and after the MRI we found out that, no, I don't have a hernia. So I got a tear in the cartilage around the ball of my hip, and I'll be getting surgery this June. Now, when I run, like I ran today, I ran yesterday, I still run, but running gives me hip pain gradually, so throughout the season it's going to get worse. It's just the vibrations of my feet. But when it comes to hockey, that lateral movement of skating is the movement that gives me pain. So last year I didn't play hockey. So I found myself with a lot of time on my hands. So I do something that any normal teenager does with a lot of time on their hands. I got involved in the UCP leadership race. Oh yeah, that's a really normal thing to do. Now there was a lot of candidates in this leadership race that I asked some pretty nasty questions, so it's fair for them. But they would avoid my questions, they would try and drive their own narrative. But there were a rare, inspiring few that could respond to a problem with a policy solution. So that gave me a lot of passion. Those were the candidates that I supported. Now, with all that passion for policy, what do? I do another very normal teenage thing to do. I draft an entire bill and I send it to the Premier of Saskatchewan. No, I don't even live in Saskatchewan. I live in Alberta. So why should Scott Moe respond to me, some guy that doesn't even live in his province? But he did, and he sent me a very nice letter, and then he referred it to the Justice Minister. So I have some calls about that this summer. Oh, growth that works for everyone. Oh. But with all that passion for policy, I've got to do something about that, right? Like, at this time after I passed this bill, I had my annual appointment with my family doctor. Now, for the past year, every time I've gone to this family doctor, she's asked me about my ear. Now, I did have ear surgery when I was 2. That's in her files. What's also in her files is that I haven't had ear problems since I was 2. Clear. Like, I had surgery. It shouldn't be a problem. So every time she's examining my ear, and it's in her files, but she keeps doing it. Eventually, she had me go see an ear specialist. The specialist got those files. He's like, well, you shouldn't have any problems. And he examines my ear and says, no, you don't have any problems. I don't know why your family doctor is asking you about this. So why would she do something like that? Well, it's simple. It's how physicians in this province in primary care are paid. They're paid for every service they provide, and that's the only system of payment we have that most doctors are bought into. It's called fee-for-service. And it's driving all the wait times and the lack of quality in our healthcare system. Now, there's a policy expert in Saskatoon. He calls this system of fee-for-service a system that pays doctors who perpetuate waste more than doctors who work hard to curtail it. Now, we all know about all these wait times that are rising and care quality really isn't improving. Like we've all had experience with that kind of thing. But in Alberta, we are taking action. We've been taking action for a long time. We have a system that we can improve and build off of. It's called primary care networks. So all those hardworking doctors that aren't bought in like my doctor is, have signed contracts for these primary care networks. What they are localized family health teams. And they're financed on a per-patient capitation system, not on the fee-for-service. It's based on how many patients a clinic affiliates with it. So they get more money for the more patients they can attract and provide fast care to. So you see those two clinics on the screen. They've saved a lot of money in this system. This system, we've seen reduced wait times and improved quality care. But family doctors still, not even in these PCNs, family doctors are still not paid on that capitation basis. All family doctors are still paid on the fee-for-service basis. So why is that? We know that capitation works. We know that it's reducing wait times, so why don't we have it? Well, the problems are twofold. We don't know for sure that capitation will work for doctors. We know it works in the PCNs, but we don't know if it'll work for doctors and not just their workers. We also have doctors like my own doctor that would resist this change aggressively. We'd see mass protests because they make more money in this fee-for-service system, right? They don't want to do that extra work that the capitation system requires. So we'd have a protest like this, so like the Medicare protests in the days of Tommy Douglas. So what do? We want this capitation system, but we don't know fully about it. We don't know how it's going to work. We can't be certain about it. And uncertainty in healthcare is a dangerous track to tread. We don't want to be going that way. We need change now, but changing too rapidly could blow up the system. We could make a mistake, it could damage millions of lives, and we'd have much more work to do to change healthcare. Now, I consider myself a cautious man. Well, maybe this doesn't appear like that, but when I go about change, I go about it cautiously and strategically. When I look at change myself or in government, I want to look at what can I do that minimizes negative impacts, maximizes positive impacts. And that's the attitude we need when it comes to healthcare reform, really. What can we do that balances now and tomorrow so that we can get to tomorrow in a better system? Now, what we can do is we can balance capitation and fee-for-service. So Saskatchewan is doing this with blended capitation. And we've seen it in those Tabor clinics. That's what they've been doing, blended capitation. Now, all institutional reform should be approached in this way, with that caution and with that strategy. When an institution is in need of reform, you can't go in and blow it up. Doing so could damage millions of lives. Think about that the next time you want something to change in government. What can you do to change your ways, to change government that minimizes negative impacts and maximizes positive outcomes? That is the thinking at the root of institutional reform. Thank you.